Magic friends, I haven't done a magic video or tutorial in quite some time. It's been quite a few months. I don't want to get into sob stories, but I'll explain briefly. Both me and my wife, we lost our jobs, we lost our car, and then we lost our home. And to top it all off, I lost my mother. So it's been quite a hectic time in our lives, and now we're trying to claw our way back and start from the beginning again. I don't have Wi-Fi as yet, but I will make the videos at home and the tutorials and then upload them at a coffee shop or something where there's a hotspot. So I'm planning on doing a minimum of 2 tutorials a month again. Interesting stuff. I've got a nice tutorial for you today. So let's stop with the depressing stuff and get on with the magic. Now, originally, Leonard Green calls this the $26,000 bet. And the reason for this is legend has it that one of the wealthiest stock analysts, one of the wealthiest stock guys, stock analysts guys, stock market guys, stockbroker, whatever, one of the wealthiest guys bet with a magician $1,000 per pair of cards turned over. And obviously, because when you turn over 2 cards at a time, you turn over 26 pairs of cards, and he apparently lost $26,000. But when it came time to paying up, he didn't actually pay up because he realized that this magician wasn't exactly being fair with him, which is fair enough. Now, the person who came up with this concept or this principle is Norman Gilbreth. He was a mathematician. Loud cars. Anyway, he was a mathematician, Norman Gilbreth, and he came up with this principle, and it appears in level 1 with 2 cards series. Leonard Green uses this principle, David Williamson uses this principle, and it's an amazing principle once you get the idea of it and you actually start using it. You'll enjoy it a lot, believe me, and it's very simple. It's not slight, heavy. There's a few subtleties, but all of it is basically all cream, all gravy, which is a very weird thing to say. But yes, it's all gravy, and let's get into it. I'll start with the effect. Basically, the effect works like this. You take a pack of cards, and you show the person that you're going to do it for that the pack of cards is all mixed up and everything. Then you tell them to cut the cards into 2 piles. It doesn't matter if they're equals, but that person cuts it into 2 piles. And what you do is you do this to the 2 piles, and you tell the spectator to push the 2 piles together randomly like this. So that they'll push the piles together like this. So now obviously the cards are extremely mixed up, okay? And you fix up the cards. And then what you do is you say you're going to have a bet with them, okay, and you're going to deal 2 hands. You can either give them a choice if they want to choose which card they want out of 2 cards, every 2 cards, or you can just deal 2 hands like this, which I prefer doing because it's a little bit quicker, okay. And while I'm dealing, I can tell really bad jokes like, I bought powdered water once, but I didn't know what to add, and terrible jokes like that, okay, while I'm busy dealing the cards like that, because I find if you make them choose which card they want every 2 cards, it drags out way too long. So I basically deal out the entire pack like this. Then I say to them, okay, now you've got a pile and I've got a pile. The bet works like this. We're going to turn the top cards of each of our piles over, and if the cards match colors, if it's 2 red cards or 2 black cards, you win. But if it's a red card and a black card, or a black card and a red card, I win. In other words, if the colors don't match, I win. But if the colors match, both red or both black, he wins. And every hand, you take a bet, okay? And so you turn over each card, and I win that one, they don't match. I win that one, they don't match. And as you turn the cards over, you'll notice that none of the cards actually match at all. And you can turn over each pair of cards, even though the spectator cut the cards and the spectator pushed the 2 cards together in a random sort of riffle Rosetta shuffle, you'll notice that each pair does not match at all. And the entire deck, every single hand you play, the entire deck will be mismatched and not match at all, which seems incredibly impossible. And I'll explain to you how it works now. Okay, the setup for this trick is like so. You take the entire deck and you put it in red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black, red, black order the entire way. It doesn't have to be, obviously, it doesn't have to be a specific order, as long as it goes red, black, red, black, red, black, the entire pack. Okay, and that's the only setup you need. It's very basic. Then when you display the cards, you do like a rough dribble on the table like this, so that the cards do look well and truly mixed and well and truly separated, and they won't notice the red-black setup in the pack. Then you tell the spectator to cut the cards into two parts. The spectator does this. Then you pick up the cards and you pretend to square them like this, but what you're actually looking for is that the bottom card of each pile is a different color. Now, what happens if the bottom card of the piles are the same color? I'll show you an example here. Say, for instance, you pick them up and you notice they're both black or they're both red. You put this pile down, and as you're putting this pile down, you pretend to actually drop the bottom card. So you notice that they're both the same color, two blacks or two reds, and as you turn them over, you go, oops, and you just put that card on top. Now you know that they're both different colors on the bottom of the piles, right? Because you replace the same bottom card that you drop on top of the same pile. Then from this stage, you can ask them to do a riffle shuffle if you want. But what I prefer is I prefer to do what Leonard Green calls the Rosetta Shuffle. I do this with the two piles, and I tell the spectators to push it together. It just looks more random. A riffle shuffle looks a bit, people have seen it before. It's very rare that spectators get to see this way of mixing cards together like this, okay? And it does. It looks incredibly random and randomized. But for some reason, because of the Gilbreth principle, the cards are now set up perfectly so that it'll be mismatched pairs the entire way if you deal the pack out. Or, like I said before, you can take two cards and ask the spectator to pick which one they want and which one, and then the one that's left you get to keep. But I don't like to do it that way, like I said, because it takes too long, okay? And to go through 26 pairs of cards like that is it becomes boring. So at this stage, you could even do another you could do a plain spread if you want. It might be a bit obvious, but you'll notice there's some pairs that are together, two reds, two blacks, but it'll never be, because of the Gilbreth principle, you'll never have three reds together or three black cards together. But if you wanted to display the cards again, it's unnecessary, but you could display them like that again and then go into the deal. But guaranteed, when you go into the deal, no two cards will match colors. Every set of cards will be mismatched colors through the entire deck, okay? I like to say, I'll bet you so much per turnover, and then if I win the entire deck, then there's this huge prize you have to give me, right? But generally, it's just a good bet to do it each hand, and then it's just funny at the end that you win all the hands. Now, if you wanted to reverse this and make it so that if they're matching colors, you get the matching colors, or they get to win. Say, for instance, you want them to win. You can set the deck up so that it's two black, two red, two black, two red, two black, two red, and then you'll find that if you use the Gilbreth principle, like I explained, that every single pair of cards will be matching colors. There'll be two black or two red cards, as long as you set the deck up with two black, two red, two black, two red, two black, two red, and then make sure that the bottom card of each pile actually matches, the color matches, and they're not odd. If you want every set of cards to be matching colors, that's the way you would do it. But I would generally just stick to this method, because it sounds, for some reason, spectators believe that the odds are more likely for them to get two reds or two blacks because there's two options, and it's unlikely for you to get a mismatched pair because there's only sort of one outcome that way, which is a bit of a silly way to think, because basically it's almost 50-50, but I don't want to get into the maths of it. I'm not here to teach maths, but that's how the trick works. It's not really a trick, it's more like a swindle. And I will see you. I hope you enjoy doing this. You will. It's not something you'll do at a gig, but you will do this if someone says, show me something, or you just want to have a little bit of fun and win a bet. I'll see you next time on the next tutorial. Bye.